Let's start today's important news. Supreme Court of India said, entire exercise of special intensive revision, which was held by Election Commission in Bihar, will be set aside if Supreme Court finds some illegal methodology in this special intensive revision. The final arguments with respect to this SIR case will be on October 7th. And after that, Supreme Court is going to give judgment on Bihar vote revision, where there's a 65 lakh voters their votes are being removed from their voting list. Now, it's only Election Commission is saying that it's only a draft list, and now Supreme Court 2 weeks back ordered that Aadhaar should be allowed as a 12th document for voter verification. Aadhaar should be allowed as a 12th document for voter verification. Supreme Court today said that if it finds any illegality in the methodology adopted by the Election Commission at any stage of special intensive revision in Bihar, the entire exercise will be set aside by the Supreme Court. We presume that the Election Commission of India, a constitutional authority, is following rule of law and mandatory rules in Bihar SIR exercise. Adding that it cannot give piecemeal opinion only on Bihar SIR, and the final verdict given by the Supreme Court will have a pan-India application. It will have a pan-India application. And Election Commission of India have every right to conduct voter revision, and the Supreme Court clarified that Supreme Court cannot stop Election Commission from conducting similar exercise of SIR in various parts of the country. So, special intensive revision can be conducted, but the methodology should not be illegal. If the methodology of SIR is illegal, that means if voter list, the methodology for inclusion or exclusion do not follow specific set of rules or guidelines, then Supreme Court have every right to set aside the SIR. This was said by Supreme Court today. And the next important news and a worrisome news is in UK, in London, particularly in central London, more than 1 lakh people came into streets. They started protesting against illegal immigrations into UK. They started protesting against illegal immigrations into UK. Particularly, this entire protests were launched by the far-right anti-immigration activist Tommy Robinson in UK. Almost more than 110,000 people joined this far-right activist movement, Tommy Robinson's anti-immigration rally in central London. So, they are saying that, please, we want our UK back to ourselves. We don't want any illegal immigrant. Our culture is being lost. Our social values are being lost. Our economy is being lost with respect to illegal immigrants. In fact, they are reiterating the great replacement rhetoric. Great replacement means, in fact, the whites are being replaced by other races. The whites are being replaced by other races. They don't want their replacement. We want our next generations to survive in London. We want our next generations to survive in the Western world. In fact, earlier, our colonial people, and we colonized the entire world, and now our colonial people are coming and occupying our own places. That is, the countries who are colonial powers, now they are facing the heat from the people from colonies. They are coming and settling down in the countries of colonial powers. In fact, they are opposing the migration. They are chanting the messages, and we want our country back. We want to reclaim our Britain back. We don't want any illegal immigrants. So, the entire protests were organized by Tommy Robinson. In fact, Elon Musk also virtually attended and said that we should reclaim, and Elon Musk is a strong supporter of anti-immigration, particularly anti-illegal immigration, and they started carrying national flags, and they also said, the protesters, we want our country back. We want our country back. We don't want illegal immigrants. Don't make the Western countries look like the Middle East. Particularly, we don't want Muslim immigrants. Indirectly, they are telling that. Don't make the Western country to look like the Middle East. In fact, particularly the protesters and rally is concerned about the illegal migrants who are crossing the English Channel in small boats. The illegal migrants who are crossing the English Channel in small boats. Stop the boats, send them home. Enough is enough, save our children. Stop the boats, send them home. Enough is enough, save our children. With these slogans, they don't want illegal immigrants to enter into Britain. They don't want. All these protesters was reclaiming the Britain economically, culturally and socially. Reclaiming the Britain economically, culturally and socially. And particularly Tesla CEO Elon Musk, he appeared and spoke to the protesters virtually. Whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. Whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die. That's the truth, I think. So Elon Musk also called the dissolution of Keir Starmer government in Britain. He also wanted the dissolution of Keir Starmer government in Britain. And today, there's a very bad news from Texas state. In Texas state, in the city of Dallas, a Telugu man was beheaded by a Cuban illegal immigrant in America. His name is, Telugu man's name is Chandramouli Nagamallaya. He's a manager of a motel. There's a small argument between him and a Cuban illegal immigrant with respect to washing machine. And this Cuban illegal immigrant took a sharp object and beheaded him. And now Donald Trump even spoke about this illegal immigration, and we are not going to be softer anymore with respect to illegal immigrants in America. This is a response given by Donald Trump after this attack. And US ICE Department, Immigration, Customs and Enforcement Department, also condemned the assassination of a Telugu man in the hands of Cuban illegal immigrant. This Cuban illegal immigrant also have a very bad criminal background. He was recently released from prison on child sexual abuse, motor vehicle thefts and other abuses also. So this man was not allowed to Cuba because he has no proper documents and he committed a lot of crimes. And he got that violent tendency. And unfortunately, our Telugu man, Mr. Chandramouli Nagamallaya, he was beheaded by a Cuban illegal immigrant in the Texas state in Dallas. This is the pathetic news that have come across all the newspapers today. Coming back, the other important news, US Commerce Secretary, American Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, he again targeted India and India's trade practices. India has 1.4 billion population. India don't purchase even a small amount of corn from our country. And India enjoyed till date a lot of trade surplus from America. India sells more to America. India purchases less from America. And till now, America followed a rhetoric saying that India is purchasing Russian oil. So we don't want India to purchase Russian oil. So we have imposed additional tariffs on India. Now, again, American Commerce Secretary, means their Commerce Minister, Howard Lutnick, is complaining that India enjoyed trade surplus. Why don't India buy US corn despite large population? Why don't India buy US corn despite large population? India enjoyed one-way trade surplus. India's trade is not fair with America. So we want to teach a lesson to India. So we have increased taxes on India. If India do not purchase from America, we are going to put pressure on India. This is indirectly the warning given by US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to India. There's a news that is coming up. Let's go to the other important news. On September 17, 2025, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch Swasth Nari Shashakt Parivar Abhiyan, a campaign aimed at strengthening women and children's health across India as a part of his 75th birthday celebrations. As a part of Narendra Modi's 75th birthday celebrations. The campaign includes thousands of health camps, nutrition-driven exercises, and partnership with local health infrastructure. There's a news that is coming up. Swasth Nari Shashakt Parivar Abhiyan. Swasth Nari Shashakt Parivar Abhiyan. Modi ji is going to launch on September 17th as a part of his 75th birthday celebrations. Coming to other important news today, Supreme Court refuses to stay Waqf Amendment Act in full, but suspend some key provisions. See, with respect to Muslim charitable properties, to regulate them and to streamline them, an act was passed in the year 1995 called Waqf Act. And recently, there were many amendments called Waqf Amendment Act 2025. Many cases were filed by various Muslim groups against Waqf Amendment Act 2025, saying that it's a plot by the government to encroach the rights of the Waqf properties and Muslim community. So, Supreme Court have not agreed to give a complete stay on the Waqf Amendment Act 2025, but key provisions in the Waqf Amendment Act were put on hold. Supreme Court have imposed a stay on them. So, one most important thing, you need to prove that 5 years you should practice Islam to donate some property to the Waqf as a Waqf property. But Supreme Court said, unless you frame proper guidelines and rules, how to verify and identify a man is following Islamic practice without proper rules, how can you say 5 years practicing Islam will allow the man to give charity for the Waqf? So this is first thing. So unless the state frames some rules, you cannot frame a rule that a man should practice or a person should practice Islam for 5 years to donate property to the Waqf. So unless there is a rule, how to identify that a man is practicing Islam? You cannot say that a man with 5 years of Islam's practice, he can donate the property to the Waqf. Second thing, in the new Amendment Act, collector was given the right to decide whether the land belongs to government or to the Waqf. So, Supreme Court said it is against separation of powers. Till this Amendment Act, tribunals and courts have the right to verify and adjudicate with respect to the Waqf properties if the properties are in dispute. But giving this power to the collector is not right according to the Supreme Court, and then Supreme Court issued a stay on that. The third important point, in Waqf councils, National Waqf Council and State Waqf Council, the non-Muslim members in the council should be limited. The non-Muslim members in the National Council, it should be limited to 4. In the state councils, it should be limited to 3. And there are many changes which were brought by this Amendment Act, and few changes which are very critical to the Waqf Amendment Act were put on hold by the Supreme Court today. So this is a very important news that is coming up today. The next important news is, for the first time, the northeastern state of Mizoram got railway connectivity. For the first time, the northeastern state of Mizoram got railway connectivity and railway line. The Bhairabi-Sairang railway line is expected to transform the Mizoram. Employment, businesses, industry, whatnot, cost effective. The transportation and commutation to Mizoram will become cheaper now, and more importantly, Mizoram tourism will be improved, enhanced, and businesses can come and go to the Mizoram now frequently, because to travel to Aizawl from Assam border, it will take minimum 8 hours because of its terrain of, if you see Mizoram's terrain, it's completely rugged, mountains, hills, forests, and almost more than 5,070 crores was spent, and 2015 they started constructing this railway line, and it was completed recently, 10 years, 1 decade. And the length of the railway line is 51.38 kilometers. 51.38 kilometer broad gauge line which connects 51.38 kilometer broad gauge line connects Bhairabi on the Assam-Mizoram border with the Sairang near Aizawl. Bhairabi on the Assam-Mizoram border with the Sairang near Aizawl. So we can say this is an engineering marvel. It includes 55 major bridges. 55? It includes 55 major bridges, 87 smaller bridges, and many tunnels. And the next important news that is coming up. There's a news that is coming up, as you all know, on May 7th, we have conducted Operation Sindoor, and we have destroyed the terror camps of Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Toiba, etc. But Lashkar-e-Toiba is rebuilding its Murdike headquarters in Pakistan using flood relief funds. You all know that recently Pakistan was flooded. There's a lot of funding for Pakistan, and using those funds, Lashkar-e-Toiba is building its Murdike headquarters again. Globally banned terror outfit Lashkar-e-Toiba has been raising funds through both online and offline to construct its headquarters in Murdike, which was struck by the Indian Air Force on May 7th, 2025. This is a news that is trending in the internet. Coming to the other important news, delayed justice is nothing but denied justice. Justice delayed is justice denied. The Supreme Court of India's pending cases have reached an unprecedented 88,417. And out of total 88,417 cases, civil cases are 69,553 cases pending, criminal cases 18,864, and unfortunately in high courts also, in all the high courts put together, around 63 lakh cases were pending. Though the Supreme Court is functioning with its full strength of 34 and there was enhanced rate of disposal, still judges are holding sessions even during summer recess. Even during summer vacations, judges are holding sessions. In spite of all these things, there was a lot of pendency of cases and more number of fresh cases and fresh litigations are being filed in the Supreme Court. What is the solution for this? One solution I can tell you, creation of National Court of Appeal. See, in various countries like Austria, Germany, Italy, Spain, in various countries, Supreme Court, that is the highest court, deals with only constitutional cases. Supreme Court, that is highest court, deals with only constitutional cases. Remaining civil and criminal matters, there will be a separate court in the lines of National Court of Appeal. In India also, there is a call to establish a new court called National Court of Appeal. Not every civil and criminal case should go up to the Supreme Court. Only constitutional cases should go up to the Supreme Court. Other cases should go to the National Court of Appeal. But to create National Court of Appeal, we should go for a constitutional amendment. It is not an easy process. And next important news. India's first bamboo-based ethanol plant was established at Golaghat, Assam. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on September 14th inaugurated the country's first bamboo-based ethanol plant in Golaghat, Assam at Numaligarh refinery premises. The plant is the world's first green bamboo bioethanol facility. It is a part of 5,000 crore project. Alongside, Modi ji also laid foundations for 7,230 crore polypropylene plant at the same refinery. So, India's first bamboo-based bioethanol plant was inaugurated in Assam by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The next important news that is coming up. West Bengal records highest child marriage in India at 6.3%. The Sample Registration System Statistical Report 2023, SRS Statistical Report 2023, released in September 2025, shows that West Bengal has the highest proportion of females married below the age of 18. In fact, I can tell you, in various states in India, for example, in Jharkhand, out of all marriages, 4.6% are child marriages. In Kerala, it is lowest, only 0.1%. Himachal Pradesh, 0.4%. Haryana, 0.6%. But this data is only official. Unofficial, if you see, there's a Lancet study. There's a Lancet study where Bihar has 16.7% of child marriages, West Bengal 15.2% of child marriages, Uttar Pradesh 12.5% of child marriages, Maharashtra have 8.2% of child marriages. In spite of Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006 and various policies by the various state governments, including West Bengal government's policy, Kanyashree Prakalpa and other policies like Kalyan Lakshmi in Telangana and various policies, in spite of all these policies, child marriages are rampant in India. So, if a female gets married below 18 years of age and if a male gets married below 21 years of age, then it is called a child marriage. And more importantly, the marriage age for women should also be increased to 21. This is a demand that is coming up from various quarters.